Have you heard about the quiet revolution happening in global finance? It's centered on a corner of the market that has suddenly, and I mean suddenly, caught fire. If you're an investor or a business looking for the next big shift, you're absolutely going to want to know about the Panda bond.
Our whole goal here is to help know China to do better business, saving you time and money with expert insights. Welcome to our channel, Trade with China. Today, we're diving deep into the explosive growth of a really unique financial tool, the Panda bond. So why is this market suddenly on fire? What's it mean for global capital? And most importantly, where's the opportunity for you? Let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, what in the world is a Panda bond? Well, to put it simply, it's a bond that's sold in China and priced in their currency, the Renminbi. But, and this is the key part, it's issued by someone who isn't Chinese. So think about it like this. If a big global company, say Mercedes-Benz, wants to raise money directly from Chinese investors, the bond they issue is a Panda bond. Simple as that.
So why all the buzz right now? Well, it really all comes down to this one number. The total value of all these Panda bonds out there has skyrocketed by over 90% in less than 3 years. Now that isn't just growth, that is an absolute explosion. So you gotta ask yourself, what's pouring gasoline on this fire?
So let's dig into that first. We're talking about the recent market explosion. To really get it, you have to see just how this once sleepy little market turned into a global hotspot.
Just take a look at the sheer scale of this change. For years, things were pretty steady, hovering around 77 billion renminbi a year. But then, bam! In 2023, it rocketed past 150 billion, and it's staying up there. This isn't some slow and steady climb, folks. This is a classic hockey stick growth curve, and that signals a massive turning point in the market.
And it's not just about the volume of money, it's about who's raising it. A couple of years ago, foreign issuers were just a small piece of the pie, making up only about a fifth of the market. But now, look at that shift. They're nearly half of all new issuers. That tells you this is becoming a genuinely international playing field, attracting global players like never before.
Right, an explosion like this doesn't just happen in a vacuum. So what changed? Let's unpack the 3 big drivers that created a perfect storm for this Panda bond boom. It really all comes down to a combination of 3 things. Fantastic market conditions, much smarter government policies, and some major shifts happening in the global economy.
First up, let's talk about those favorable market conditions. At the end of the day, it all boils down to one simple fact of business. You want to borrow money where it's cheapest. And right now, as this quote says, that place is very often China. And the core reason for that is the interest rate gap. Since 2023, borrowing costs in China have been consistently over a full percentage point. That's 100 basis points lower than in the US. Now, if you're a big company issuing billions in bonds, that 1% isn't just pocket change. We're talking about massive savings. It's a simple and very powerful financial incentive.
The second big driver is that the rulebook got a major upgrade. China basically streamlined what used to be a pretty complex process. They brought in unified rules, they gave issuers the flexibility to use the money they raise either in China or to send it abroad, and, maybe most importantly, they now permit hedging against currency risk. These are huge, practical improvements that make a real difference. And look, these policy changes go way beyond just making the paperwork easier. It sends a powerful signal to the world. It tells global companies and investors that China is serious about building a transparent, predictable, and welcoming market for the long haul. And that, right there, builds confidence, which is the absolute bedrock of any financial market.
And that brings us perfectly to our third driver, these broader global shifts. I mean, the use of the renminbi for international trade is just growing like crazy. For instance, trade settled in renminbi with Southeast Asian nations jumped by almost 50% in a single year. So as more business gets done in renminbi, a need to borrow and invest in that currency, using tools like Panda bonds, just grows right along with it.
And there's another piece to this global puzzle. In a world with so much geopolitical uncertainty, big money investors are starting to rethink what a safe asset really is anymore. They're looking to diversify, to spread their risk. And suddenly, these high-quality, AAA-rated renminbi bonds are starting to look like a very compelling alternative.
So, we've seen the data, we've looked at the drivers, but this all leads to the most important question, right? What does this boom mean for you? Let's break down the concrete opportunities this trend is creating for both investors and for businesses. The opportunities really fall into 2 main camps. If you're an investor, This is a clear path to diversifying your portfolio into a new and growing market. You get access to attractive yields, often from very high-quality AAA-rated companies. Now, if you're a business operating in China, this is a golden ticket. It's a direct route to low-cost financing in the local currency, letting you fund everything from factory expansions to marketing campaigns right there on the ground.
All right, let's zoom out for our final section and look at the big picture. Because what we're seeing here isn't just a temporary fad. This is part of a much larger, long-term structural shift in global finance. The future is Renminbi.
And if you want to see the potential here, just look at this comparison. Japan has its own version, called the Samurai Bond. At its peak, it made up 2.5% of its total bond market. Panda bonds? They're currently just 0.2% of China's market. I mean, if this market matures to a similar scale, the room for growth is simply enormous. We are in the very early innings of this game.
Ultimately, Panda bonds are more than just a way to borrow money. They are a key engine for the internationalization of the renminbi. They're building a channel for the currency to flow out into the world, moving it beyond just being a currency for trade and into the realm of global investment. This is exactly why it's a foundational trend for the future of capital markets.
And that leaves us with a final, really big question to think about. We've seen the explosive growth, the drivers, and the incredible potential. Is this moment, this Panda bond boom, the tipping point we'll all look back on as the moment the renminbi truly stepped onto the world stage as a global financing currency? What do you think? This channel is all about bringing you practical knowledge to navigate business, investment, and trends in China. And your comments really encourage us to update with more useful information, so let us know your thoughts below.
If you found this useful, please press like and subscribe now